right? So that's rule number one in this particular kitchen, and I would think that that would be true for other commercial kitchens. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with Prabal, and he's going to start off with the morning breakfast mung that we all enjoy so much. So that's the sabut mung, which means whole mung. Sabut means whole, so whole mung. And then we'll go into the rasawala mung, which we're going to have for lunch. And then we'll go into the sprouted mung means salad, which is at the end down there. So, and just so everybody knows, most of the oils that we use here are either the olive oil for cooking, the coconut oil, or ghee, or and peanut oil. So these are the four that we use here at the ashram. And that's after much research and all of that. Research, cost, this, that, and the other. So now I'll let Prabal start, and so he'll show you what oil he's going to use first, and then he'll begin. Sadhgurnath Maharaj Ki Jai.
First oil.
Which oil?
Peanut oil.
This one is peanut oil. This one is peanut oil. Lots. Daughter said we took the tiny and keep that. So about that.
Generous.
Yeah.
How many will this serve?
You keep the low kilo will serve for
5.
This is going to be for 5 people.
Medium flame?
No, first.
Low flame, medium flame, fast.
Fast.
Fine. Thank you.
Very magic. Very magic. So basically he's going to start with the, what's always known as the magic. In Gujarati it's also known as the magar. Right? So he's going to start with the cumin seeds first. Yeah, and he said he doesn't know about by quantities, he only knows it by putting it in there.
That's brown.
This is the whole cumin seed. Jib, and we also call that jira. Yep. And the key always with the magic, I would say, is always that it's hot enough, but that it doesn't burn, that it only browns, or say for example, if you're using the black mustard seeds, they actually have to pop. If you put and so you got to make sure that your oil is hot, otherwise if they sit there and they just kind of get soaked and drowned, then no flavor comes out whatsoever. So the key is that they have to pop. Yes?
Can you use ghee instead of oil?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, this one is peanut oil, but yeah, you can use ghee.
So how hot is it so that they don't like burn?
Well, you'll know if usually the way that we were taught by Baba was that you just take a handful of water and you throw it in there. And if it pops and it steams, you're fine. If it just does nothing, then you know that your oil's not hot enough yet, and then you have to wait. And that's why he's suggesting, I think, to use a high flame at the beginning.
Not ginger.
For ginger, we also call that sattvik, which means ginger.
5 spoons.
5 spoons.
Ginger brown.
Okay, and he's saying that you have to make sure that the ginger starts to get like a light golden brown. Not too dark, but just a light brown. And here I would just insert, this is why here, especially at the ashram, and probably, it's like preaching to the choir, I don't have to say this, but most people, that's why no phones are allowed in the kitchens, because every minute is like, if you miss it, the If it gets too brown, too dark, too this, too that, if you have your flame too high and it starts to burn the outside of the pan, so you also have to watch your flame here, that it doesn't come on the outside of the pan. I know all the dishwashing people are aware of that because then you gotta scrub all those pots. So it's always making sure. And now the curry leaves. And with Prabal, he does something more unusual than other cooks. With his curry leaves, he always chops them. Most people don't chop their curry leaves. They just throw a handful of curry leaves in there. And it's also known as curry pata. But he always chops it. And now he's going with green chili. Okay, and he's saying for the non-spicy people, no green chili. Everybody according to your own taste, add the green chili or no green chili.
And कुछ लोग धनिया का डंडी फेंक देते हैं, पर वो मैं फेंकता नहीं, वो काट के चॉप काट के उसको अंदर उस बघार में डाल देते हैं.
Okay, so he's saying a lot of people, like at the end of the cilantro, normally we take the leaves off and we use that as a garnish on top. A lot of people take the stalk part of it and they actually just throw it away and only keep the leaves themselves. He said he always chops real fine the stalk of that and puts it inside that particular dish. So you're using the whole part of the coriander. So the coriander leaves and the stem, stalk, stem. And now he's going to add the acid potato, which is also known as hing. वो हिंग क्या करते हैं?
हिंग थोड़ा सा.
वो क्या करते हैं? उसका
वो डाइजेस्ट के लिए और डाइजेस्ट
for digestion.
और स्मेल भी अच्छा आता है, टेस्ट बढ़ाता है.
And he said it enhances the taste as well. We're going to go over all those properly. And now the chopped tomato. And another thing that I would say also is a sign of a good cook is one who doesn't create many dishes. So as you're doing it, if you need to stir something again, rinse out the same spoon, don't go and grab a second and a third, rinse out that one, and then try to keep up with your cleanliness as you go, not leaving this huge mess at the end for the dishwashing people or for yourselves. Yeah, and it also shows, it also reflects the mind, where the mind's at.
अभी जितना टमाटर है उतना है, उस हिसाब से नमक डालेंगे क्योंकि वो उसको बचाता है.
Okay, so he's saying that with the tomatoes, that based on how much tomatoes you put in there, you put the same amount of salt because the tomatoes absorb the salt. And for those of you who like less salt or whatever because of swelling in the body and all of that is the age and everything, just start off with less salt from the beginning.
Is that rock salt or is that?
That's sea salt, Himalayan sea salt. And now covering it to cook down some of the tomato.
How long have the beans been cooked for?
The ones for whole moong, he did like just last night. But the ones for the one to get the tails on it, we call the tails, that one it took him 2 days, 3 days?
2 days.
2 days. Yeah, and that also depends on the weather. Because like sometimes in Vishwakarma before, when it was really cold, we would have to do that in the winter. We'd have to do it like a week out. And then sometimes it wouldn't even sprout. We'd have to put it in one of the utility rooms and hope that it would start to sprout. So depending upon the climate and where you are. Hanji?
If it's really warm, it sprouts.
If it's really, yeah, exactly.
उसे बॉईल करते हैं और उसको चेक करना पड़ता है बीच में कि ज़्यादा नहीं पकना चाहिए.
Okay, so he's saying that with the whole moong for that for the morning moong, that one has to make sure that you keep checking on it because you don't want it to get too broken. You want it to stay whole. So you will rinse करते हैं?
नहीं,
Or water change it?
बॉईल करने से पहले रिंस करते हैं.
हाँ.
2 बार. 2 बार साफ पानी से.
लेकिन उसके बाद वो बीच में नहीं करना. Okay. So you only have to rinse it twice before you actually soak it overnight, and then you don't have to go back to it and change the water. Like sometimes you do that with rice and other things, but not with the moong.
When you're sprouting it, you pour the water off and let it sprout? You sprout it in the
And
water?
how did वो आपने कैसे किया ये sprouted में?
ऐसे ही सोक करना है रात को और
So so it's the same procedure as this, where the night before you sprout it.
और
I mean the night before you soak it,
फिर उसको ड्रेन करना है,
and then once you drain it,
फिर उसके बाद एक क्लॉथ लेना है कॉटन का,
then you take one of the cotton cloths, the real
Like
thin
cheese
ones,
cloth.
like the cheese cloths,
और उसके अंदर उसको गीला करना है,
and then you wet it,
फिर उसके अंदर मूंग डाल के
and then you put the mung inside of that,
और फिर उसको इस ऐसे ही जो होल वाला बर्तन है बहुत में उसमें रखना है और ऊपर से बैठ
and then you put it inside of like another pot or something, so that the water can continue to come out of that cheesecloth, and you cover it, right?
So you don't soak the moong in water and then you put water in there?
तो वो ये मूंग के लिए वो आप सोक नहीं कर सकते,
किसके लिए?
ये
हाँ नहीं सोक करना है पहले रात,
हाँ लेकिन उसके बाद
हाँ।
afterwards you don't. Afterwards you drain it and then put it in that cloth and let it continue to.
पर वो
Like
एकदम
2 inches.
टाइट नहीं होना चाहिए, जो भी मूंग रखेंगे थोड़ा बड़ा बर्तन थोड़ा खुला, क्योंकि टाइट होगा तो फिर वो
ये मूंग
उसको निकलने में हाँ उसके लिए
Yeah, so he's saying that when you put it in that pot where you have the cheesecloths in there, make sure that the pot is big enough, because once that starts to move out, it expands. So you want to make sure that you have.
Rinse it in between like those
No,
2 days?
no, he said no.
Yeah. Is it elevated so it's not sitting?
Yes, exactly. Yep, elevated. सभी लोग थोड़ा सोक करना, सभी लोग देख सकते हैं. So that's how it's coming right now.
So I was asking Ron, the tomatoes that are downstairs, he said those are for sauce. So is it a different type of tomato for this than for
Well, it
salad?
depends, like what happens like at the end of like the season here, so we buy like tomatoes that are from the farm stands that we can use to make sauce to get us through winter. So, and like for soups and for all the vegetables and stuff, so that we still have flavorful tomatoes. So I'm not quite sure what's down there now, but sometimes it's plum tomatoes and things down there. And then the other ones are like the regular ones, but as we move towards the winter here, our tomatoes, we don't have much flavor in them, so we try to make sauce or make something and freeze it and use it throughout the winter months. Yeah. And now he's gonna add lemon juice. Not 5 spoons, 5 spoons of the lemon juice.
Spices. First, coriander powder.
Now we have the coriander powder. About 2.5 spoons of that.
Chili powder.
And chili powder, and just so everybody knows, this is the chili powder that's more color than it is chili powder. This is not the spicy one.
1 spoon.
1 spoon of that.
So it's more like the 3-pack?
Yeah, it definitely doesn't have the kick to it.
Half a spoon.
And then turmeric powder,
Half a spoon.
half a spoon.
Black salt.
And now we're adding black salt.
Very strong in flavor, like salt.
Still salt?
And everyone should know that the sea salt is much less than like the regular salt. So sometimes if it looks like someone's putting lots of salt in there, sometimes you're hardly getting anything. It's almost like double than the regular salt.
If you can't get fresh curry leaves,
Excuse me?
if you can't get fresh curry leaves,
I would say that there's no substitute. We've looked for it, we've gone through it all. I would try to, like, order it online. You could order it online and someone will send it to your house. You can get it online.
Can you order the plant?
Excuse me?
The curry plant? Like where I live, it'll grow, right? The curry
Yeah, you
plant.
could grow it. Yeah, you could
Where do
grow
I get
where
it
you
though?
are.
I couldn't find
Then you
it.
could
You'd have to go to the
Send
Indian
Sandy.
stores down in Cerritos,
Okay.
get it from there, and then you'd be able to do it where you are.
Get the plants.
Yeah. And now he's adding a little sugar to the Sattvik Mung. And again, for those of you who aren't into the sugar part, you can leave the sugar out. But again, the combination of the lemon, the sugar, the chilies, if you start to eliminate different things from that, you could use raw sugar, you could use
You
honey,
could use jaggery.
you could use honey, you could use gourd, any of them, gourd, you could use honey, maple syrup. Depends where you are. Sometimes you can't get this, but you can get this. Sometimes you what?
Sugar's the basic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can put raw sugar. I mean, you can, again, it's knowing how to supplement. So if you don't have that ingredient, it's like, okay, what's the next thing? If you're over somewhere else, it's like, okay, well, you can get honey, you can get maple syrup, do a little dabble of that, and you still get the same result.
So that the sweetener cuts the acidity in the
Yeah,
tomato.
yeah.
अभी जब स्पाइसेस पक जाते हैं तो वो साइड में ऑयल आ जाता है तो उसकी जानकारी के लिए मतलब स्पाइसेस और पक गए हैं उसमें तो उसको पता करने के लिए साइड में ऑयल दिखने लगता है.
Okay, so he's saying that when the spices are all like mixed together properly and they're all like cooked properly together, the oil starts to separate from that. So that's when you know that your whole mixture is like completely like integrated together.
Now add the moong. मूंग को बहुत स्लोली उसको मिक्स करना है क्योंकि फूल जाता है तो वो
So he's saying make sure with the moong that you turn it and you mix it slowly because if you do it too fast, it'll break apart. And he said you don't want it to turn into that, so you want to make sure that you do it lightly.
The flame now has been turned down when we was cooking the spices, yes?
He turned it down a while ago. Yeah.
Just so everybody knows why we're waiting for Prabal to continue with the stirring here. So tomorrow we'll have a shok on rice and dal. So everybody will learn how to make rice in a rice cooker, in a pot on the stove, and there was one other way. So 3 ways of making rice, and the combinations and how to make good rice so that it actually stands up with each of the grains of rice, and a dal. So tomorrow will be tur dal, and he'll do the dal fry. So those 2 things will be on for tomorrow morning's demonstration, just so you have that to look forward to. I'm not going to tell you everything. We have to have a surprise every day, right? We don't want everything out all at once. And now he's 2 or 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes. Now he's going to steam it a little bit on a low flame. So now we're just steaming it and letting all of it kind of blend together, right?
थोड़ा soft हो जाए.
And then the moong will also become a little bit soft.
But not mushy.
Right.
Stay warm. So that moon was not
cooked? Was only soaked or was it cooked?
ये मूंग वो पहले
हाँ
वो
पहले को
So this was cooked.
For how long?
Yeah. Well, how long did you cook it for?
वो चेक करना पड़ता है बीच बीच में मैं बोला ना वो चेक करना पड़ता है
हाँ।
कोई कोई मूंग जल्दी पकता है
हाँ।
कोई टाइम लेता है तो बीच
लेकिन
बीच
आपने
में
कैसे कुक किया वो स्टोव में प्रेशर कुकर
हाँ स्टोव में
Okay.
प्रेशर कुकर में नहीं फिर वो
टूट जाते हैं हाँ
Spot.
ठीक है हाँ so he said this was cooked mung first it was the where he soaked it last night then in the morning then he steamed it on the stove but he said very little you have to just keep checking it and make sure that you don't overcook it
Just till it's soft?
But,
Steamed
yeah.
till it's soft?
I think
But it was,
Usually it's 10 minutes, not more
10
than
minutes
that.
okay
Otherwise it would have
If you do it in a pressure cooker,
वो
it's 7
डिपेंड करता है
would be
मूंग के
mush.
ऊपर डिपेंड करता है
he said it totally depends on the mung
Yeah.
Oh,
because
yeah.
different packaging different mung
Oh, yeah.
depending upon where you get it from every single mung is different it's the same with poa when we do the poa same thing sometimes the poa which we get the quality is not good the whole thing becomes a mess and like all of a sudden it's like what happened to today's poa well so and so brought this one and it wasn't a good batch so it's always depends on
So how do you determine a good batch?
it depends on, well, for us, it would be like, say, with the poa, when it doesn't all stick together, when it doesn't all become mushy, when it still stays like individual, like today's sing poa, like that was excellent. Each thing, like, is,
I mean buying it.
you can't, because it depends the shelf life. Sometimes we go, like, we have different people who bring from different Indian stores for us. Sometimes they get ones that are just brand new. Sometimes they've been on the shelf for God knows how long. And also the brand names are different. Swad is always the best in all of those products. In POA, SWAD. Yeah, Swad is definitely the best in all of those products, but you don't always get Swad. Some places run out because it's like a popular item. And then everybody will bring us the next one, which is there. Yeah, and if we get from Queens, if we get from Edison, New Jersey, it just varies.
That's why sometimes it tastes.
Yeah. Punch me about.
नमक
वो सब ठीक है. Yeah, so I would say like for his, he nailed it. He nailed it. Flavor-wise, you don't need anything. Only it needs to steam a little bit more to make it softer. So अभी दूसरा
हाँ
Just going back to cooking the mung, it was
Yeah.
steamed, not boiled though, right?
ये steamed है or boiled है?
नहीं बॉयल
Boiled, sorry. Yeah, my mistake. Boiled. Wrong choice of words. I think of steamed like we steam without the steamer.
steam.
We're so used to do it without a steamer, so I just think it was.
रसे वाला
Okay, so now he's going to the rasawala mung.
इस साबुत मूंग से भी रसे वाला मूंग बना सकते हैं
He said you can make rasawala mung
with this
with the same what he did for sabut mung.
उसमें पानी ऐड करना है और उसको
But you would have to add more water to this,
और बॉईल करना है तो वो फूट जाएगा मूंग
and then you would wait for it to boil more, and it would start to break apart. So that would be your rasawala mung with this. They can do shrub and
दूसरा
I get it.
वो डिफरेंट
But he's going to make it a different way. वो कोबरा ना है कोबरा
कोबरा नहीं
हाँ
कोबरा वो तो बाद में डाल सकते हो वो
हाँ।
ऐड करने गार्निशिंग के लिए
ठीक तो मूंग के
मूंग वो
अच्छा वो
मैं बॉईल करके नहीं मैं डायरेक्ट बनाता हूँ वैसा बनाता एक बॉईल करके भी बनाते हैं 3-4
This one, yeah, without boiling.
without
So he's showing the demonstration for the wasarala mung without it being boiled before. So this is strictly from just soaking it. Now he's going to show you how to make the wasarala mung direct.
इसके लिए मैंने छोटा मूंग लिया है
So for this one, he took the small mung, not the regular whole, the bigger size, the small mung.
इसको 2 बार धुलना है पानी
So
से
2 times you have to rinse it. 2 times you rinse the water, rinse the mung.
That initial water that was poured out, that's what Bruno was talking about drinking.
Yeah, probably you could just save it in a pitcher. Next door,
And it's like,
regular tonic.
Is it tasty? Could you use it for soup?
Can you what?
Could you use it for soup
Yeah,
stock? Is
yeah,
it
oh, yeah.
tasty?
Yeah.
Why don't we save it?
What?
Why don't we save it and use it?
Yeah, we can. He's just, I mean, on a regular
Maybe it's
basis.
that good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's the cooking water?
Yeah, overnight. It's not like
तो मैंने ये थोड़ा ज़्यादा भिगोया है, तो मैं वो भी दिखाऊंगा कि कैसे उसको रखना है स्प्राउटेड होने के लिए। स्प्राउटेड होने के लिए कैसे रखना है कपड़े में ढक के। थोड़ा है तो मैं बताऊंगा।
Okay, so he's saying that in addition to the rasavala mung with that mung, he's going to show you how to actually do the sprouting part of it with the cloth and all of that.
I mean, this is like the cooking channel.
What?
It's like the cooking
Yeah.
channel. It's cool.
रसम से तेल से पीनट
So now he's using peanut oil again.
So how does he determine which to use, coconut,
आपको
peanut?
कैसे मालूम पड़ेगा वो इस डिश के लिए वो घी यूज करेगा, इस डिश वो peanut oil, इस डिश वो olive oil, इस डिश वो अलग अलग oil कैसे मालूम? आपने कैसे decide करते हैं? Right?
हाँ, क्योंकि हर एक डिश का मतलब टेस्ट अलग होता है।
He said
उस
with
टेस्ट
every
के ऊपर
different
डिपेंड
dish,
करता है।
it's a different flavor. It needs to taste differently.
अभी इसमें घी भी यूज कर सकते हैं, सब घी के साथ उतना फ्लेवर
He
नहीं
said
आएगा।
with this one you can use ghee, but he said you won't get the same flavor. The ghee won't give you what you
साबुदाना
get from
खिचड़ी है,
the.
उसके साथ घी का
He said
फ्लेवर
from
अच्छा है।
sabudana khichdi,
दाल
if you
फ्राई।
use ghee for that, that gives it like great flavor.
एंड दाल तुअर दाल उसके साथ घी का
And with tur dal, you can use also ghee and it gives it the right flavor.
एंड राई एंड सांबर के साथ हम कोकोनट
And for sambar, because like it's a South Indian dish, you would use coconut oil. So some of it's like regional, some of it's like based on where that dish is from.
the quantity for this one, this is for lunch.
This is for lunch, but they're gonna add to it after we all disappear.
So this, so this is like for 5 again, or is
Yeah, ये कितना लोग के लिए अभी बनाने वाला है?
ये अभी जो दोपहर में लंच
हाँ।
30 people
Okay, so शोकर वो उसके ऐड नहीं करने वाला। वो आप पूरे बनाने वाला है?
हाँ पूरा
अच्छा, okay,
हाँ।
so this is for 30 people. This is for today's lunch. Initially, he was only gonna make the small, but now he's making 30.
the 5 people is in this?
This one is this for 5, yeah.
It's a big people.
And that one's done now, turned off and just steaming.
ये
and
चालू
covered.
करेंगे वो जब तक बॉयल होगा तब तक फिर ये दिखाएंगे
Yeah,
उसका
so he
taste।
said why he, once he puts the mung in here and waits for it to boil and all of that and adds the water, he's gonna show the sprouted mung salad why that's coming to a boil. So no moment is wasted.
Yeah.
I have one question. Is mung chilla on the
But
mung chilla on?
mung chilla, that's
Yes.
gonna be with ramesh and ambika and carrot chutney.
Friday.
Friday.
He used to cook
They're the experts on mung dal chilla. It doesn't get any better than them. Right?
I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
he gets better.
No. Oh, cute. That's why you're on.
साबुत मूंग भी जो रसे वाला मूंग वो भी 2-3 टाइप से बनाते हैं। एक तो ऐसा बनाया, एक में ये बिना बॉयल किए हुए बनाते हैं, एक बॉयल करके भी ग्रेवी बना के उसमें डाल के बनाते हैं, दूसरा
He's saying that there's all different types, like there's different types of making the the sabut mung and the rasawala mung. So with boil, without boil, like all different types. And now
It's South Indian masala ke
he
saath.
said South Indian, you can add the South Indian masalas and that gives it like a whole another flavor.
वो जो आप बोले ना coconut.
He said, as I was saying about adding the coconut, like that gives it a whole nother.
उसका मसाला पीस के फिर
And then that masala, you have to like blend everything together and add that separately, not like how we're doing it with each ingredient like this.
And those things, those,
And the what?
those little blenders, is that when they use the little blenders?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Juliana, which region is this one that is doing?
What?
Which region is this?
Rasawala mung kahan se aata hai? North Indian or kahan se aata hai?
हाँ नॉर्थ इंडिया ज़्यादातर गुजरात में
He said
Gujarat.
between Gujarat and North India, both make that frequently.
गुजरात में ज़्यादा है
Maybe it was.
अभी जीरा अभी चोल गरम
So now he's back to the jeera and cumin seeds.
अभी वो दिख रहा है वो ऐसा ही दिखता है
He said as soon as you see the smoke coming up, then you put in the jeera.
इसके लिए स्ट्रिंग
That one is like the matchsticks of the ginger.
So is there a reason that it's not diced up?
Cune will chop करते हैं.
चॉप भी कर सकते हैं पर वो अच्छा दिखता है वो
He
उसमें
said,
आता है
he
वो
said,
खा-
he said
खाने
with
वाले
this one, he
खाते
said
हैं
it looks better when it's like chopped this way. Because this particular dish.
थोड़ा
It wouldn't matter if you did it fine.
कोई मैटर नहीं वो फाइन चॉप भी डाल
He said you can do it fine and chop, that's fine.
पेस्ट भी डाल सकते हैं जिंजर पेस्ट
Yeah, you can make a ginger paste out of it even, where it's even blended and then.
Another type.
Yeah.
I mean, what's in those little cups? Those are spicy.
So if you get ginger paste, you could also put a dollop of the ginger paste. Then when you ate it, you just wouldn't get that, straight the matchsticks, or you wouldn't get that finely
I
chopped.
find that when you chop things very fine or the paste, it's more flavorful than cooking icing.
I've never had it like this, and I'm the opposite. I think it's fun to find that big strip of ginger all cooked nice. So
Everybody's preferences.
yeah,
I was surprised. I
सेम
didn't feel
वैसे ही
it.
वो ब्राउन होने का उसको स्ट्रिंग्स को
So he's waiting for the matchstick ginger to get browned.
So it's kind of like what you do when you're doing onions. Like
Yeah, exactly.
You're waiting for it to brown and
Yep.
then you start. It's not just not the
yeah.
Nice way to see.
उसको बार-बार हिलाना पड़ता है
He said ginger always sticks, so you have to make sure that you pay attention and you keep on stirring it in between. Otherwise, it really has a tendency to stick to the pot.
So it's just brought to my attention that celery in India is an actual replacement of onions.
Yeah, so I would say the celery thing more comes from here, not from India.
No, but
No, we use celery, that all started more in the West than in India.
Flavor.
Yeah, that just has become our own thing, celery and carrots, because when Gurudev took initiation into the Devi Puja, at that point he stopped he was requested to stop the eating of all onions and garlic. And then, so then the question came up, so are we going to implement that into all the cooking at all the ashrams? Because in Baba's days there was onions and garlic. And then he said, yeah, just leave it like that, make it so that everywhere where we cook, there's no onions, no garlic.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, so celery and carrots becomes like an option, still give it lots of flavor. Yes. Okay, now he's adding the green chilies. अभी ये थोड़े दिखाने का वो जो आपका जो ginger है, कि वो एकदम अलग है ना? I don't know, so that's the color that it's become. See that?
So it's sauteed, basically.
Yeah.
The green chilies, do they have a name for that type of green chili? Little ones.
No, they're just, they're just mirchi. Mirchi is like the small green ones, and then if you start getting into the jalapeno and all the rest of it,
Not serranos.
many different. No, serranos are also different. So these are,
Cilantro stick,
and then these are the cilantro stems again, chopped fine.